Alrighty, g'day guys, and welcome back to another draft analysis on the channel. Today we are in, as you can see, a new league. This is the Global Ubers Union, run by one of my good buddies, Obo. You might have caught the draft stream for this. This did go up about a week ago, I think. I'm not too sure as of the time you're seeing this. But yeah, so this is a tiered league. Quite kind of similar tiers to the BBL if you've seen that. But yeah, so the idea is you can get one tier 1 Uber, one tier 2 Uber, and then like a couple of tier 3s, 4s, and 5s, along with your free picks and your megas, all that sort of good stuff. You guys know how drafts work at this point, so I'm going to get right into it. We had, as you can see the order along the bottom of the screen, we had 4th overall pick, and the things that I was going to take, the things that I was looking at taking, like the Eveltols, the Mega Lucario, the Mars Shadow, like those sort of stuff. Actually, I think Mars Shadow is still around, but something else. Jacob got something. Mewtwo and Life Orb allowed. That was the other one I was looking at. I was kind of hoping one of those three would fall to me, but alas, none of them did. Would have been very surprised if one did. But so our first pick was Deoxys Attack, and this thing is a monster. It has base 180 in both offensive stats. It's got base 150 in speed, and then a middling 50, 20, 20 in its HP and defenses. This thing, honestly, it cannot take a hit. It dies to a lot of priority. But yeah, that's its main downside. But this thing hits like a truck. A Psycho Boost, even if you're not running any special attack investment, can just nuke something. Quite often it can run physical and special. So like switch-ins to this thing, something that eats 2 hits just doesn't exist. Most of the times, if I get this thing out and there's not like a super bulky or a Sash mon in front of me, I claim one. An opponent picks a sack unless they have priority, or a Sash. And well, there's plenty of ways you can break a Sash, and well, we'll obviously know whether or not the mon can have priority. It's not the most diverse mon. You will be running either Life Orb or Sash on it, 9 times out of 10 Life Orb, because you don't care about taking chip. You die to any one hit anyway, so what does it matter if you're at 80% or 100% health? And Sash means you can live one of those priority hits, kill something, and you get an extra life kind of thing. But that's only if the hazard control is good enough. So, yeah, I thought it was a good place to base my draft around. It looks like a very fun mon, and it's just going to delete some things. So moving on to our next pick, I grabbed Megazard X. I'm like, we're coming to the end of the Gen 7 here, and I've never used this mon. And this thing is ridiculous. It was in tier 3, of course, because that's like the top, that's like your old tier 1s. Megas were just put throughout the tiers. But yeah, I grabbed Zard X because I'm like, this thing looks like a powerhouse. It can set up and sweep. We got Deoxys for that immediate breaking. We got Zard, which can be a bit fatter. It can set up a Dragon Dance, and it can clean. And as you can see, the sort of theme I'm taking with this beginning first bit of the draft is just mons that don't have a switch in. Deoxys Attack, there's no switch into that. Zard X, you get a Dragon Dance up, a Swords Dance up, a Belly Drum up, anything like that. There is no switch in. That's like, what switches into both of these mons? Nothing. Everyone knows what Zard X can do. It can run a bulky set with like Willow, Roost, Fire Punch, Dragon Claw, like Tough Claws, plus those contact moves. Like, whew, man, what lives a hit? It also has decent special attack. It's a very strong mon. It can be very versatile. The other thing is you don't really want to be switching this thing in pre-mega onto rocks, because that hurts like hell. That take 50% of the health, and so that'll be a bit of a theme going on. So Deoxys, if it's running Sash, it doesn't want rocks up because that breaks its Sash and means the item's useless. Zard X, it does want to switch in on rocks pre-mega, even post-mega, like 25% isn't the best. So yeah, and I mean, moving into our third pick, yeah, we're not going to take too much time. We don't want one of those 30-minute videos. Like, you guys want to get in, you want to hear my picks, you see the team that we're going to be using for this season, and get out of here. So moving on to my third pick, I grabbed Weavile. And Weavile was there because speed tiers in Ubers are quite important. Priority is also nice. And basically because, well, Weavile beat Deoxys. It's one of the better Deoxys counters because you've got Ice Shard, you've got Pursuit, you've got a lot of things that can just bop it, and it's a very strong mon. It's another mon that I haven't used before. Base 125 speed or something, which is ridiculous. It outspeeds so much of the metagame. It hits so hard, like a Life Orb set. You got Ice plus Dark is a phenomenal offensive typing. It also even gets Low Kick, which is even better in Ubers because you got a lot more fat mons, a lot heavy mons, and it's just a great type. And so that was sort of, Zardex Weavile was like sort of my wheel. Like, yeah, there was still 6 picks in between me, but like, yeah. So moving on, we decided to dip down into tier 4, and I thought, you know what, I've now got 3 mons that don't have switch-ins, but they also don't take hits unless I'm running bulky Zardex. So I decided to get one of my favourite mons, probably my favourite bulky water, and that's Milotic. And this thing is phenomenal. It's got great special defense, so it can sit in front of some of the more special Ubers. It's got Haze to stop the setup ones. You got Scold, you got Dragon Tail, you got Recover, and it also has the Flame Orb physical set, so it can sit in front of some physical Ubers, and that means it can't get toxic, and so you can just sit there, you can soak hits, you can dish out Skull Burns. You can even, I have even seen, and as many of you probably have seen in the APA, when Wolfie ran a Z Rain Dance Milotic. Competitive, so you switch in on default, you get +2 special attack, you Z Rain Dance. Like, spoilers, this isn't one of our Z-mons. But like a +2 special attack as a switch into something defogging, like that's something's going to take a bit of a hurting from a Scold or from an Ice Beam or something like that. So I think this is one of my favourite mons. I love using Milotic, and I'm very excited to use it again this season. I think it'll be the glue of our team. Now we're going on to round 5, and I decided to grab Slurpuff, and I got hammered a bit in picking it this early, like a tier 5 in round 5, like that's unheard of. And look, I'll be honest, I picked this mon this early because I had no idea what I wanted. I had no idea. But what I did want, I knew I wanted this mon, because a tier 5 that forces as much prep as Slurpuff does for that Belly Drum Unburden set, that's a win in my book. It's not going to come every week, of course not, because, well, it's a tier 5. I mean, a tier 5 in an Ubers League. Like, this thing, it can set up a Belly Drum, it can set up webs, it can Calm Mind, it can Wish Pass. Something that versatile in tier 5 I thought was a steal. And as you'll see in, hopefully, some of our games this season, they can put in some work and claim a couple of kills, because if I can get it into a right position, right, I can set up a Belly Drum, I can eat that Citrus Berry, I'm at 75% with +6. Like, you need to have an answer for that. And if you have an answer for that, well, then maybe you don't have an answer for Special Deoxys, or you don't have an answer for Zardex or Weavile. And look, this is just, I'm usually a very balanced, maybe a slower player, but this league I decided, you know what, we're going in offense, we're going in heavy. We do have offense plus Milotic there at the moment. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Next one, I grabbed Scizor. I'm like, well, Milotic can't run the Flame Orb every week. I didn't have a Steel type, so I needed something a bit bulkier. I wanted a second one with a reliable recovery that could actually be bulky and didn't want to run offense like Zardex. I mean, Scizor can run offensive. It's another It's a Bullet Punch user, which at this point, it kind of destroyed my team, because like Bullet Punch, Slurpuff doesn't want to take that. Deoxys doesn't want to take that. Or Weavile doesn't want to take that. So this mon beat my team, and I was like, it fits. So I'm going to pick it up. Cost me 100 of my free points. We do get, I think it was like 200 free points, but if you get like a tier 2, tier 1, like, because there were tier 1A and tier 1B and tier 2A, tier 2B, if you got a B in either of your tier 1 or tier 2 spots, you got an extra 20 points. So it's a bit expensive, but I decided to grab a Scizor because I thought this mon was very much worth it and fit my team, gives me a bit more pivoting, which at the moment I had 0. So pivoting into Deoxys is going to be nice. Bullet Punch, as I said, Roost. You're going to run a fat set. It's a nice steal to switch into the plethora of dragons that there are in Ubers, and it's also going to be nice and physically bulky. So I think it fit nicely. So round 7 came around, and I decided to grab Umbreon, and I love Umbreon. This is a comfort pick for me. You'll notice that I have another tier 4 slot open. This is like a lower tier 4 pick, so I've put in the free points so I can get a higher one when I get to my other tier 4. This mon, it's Fat Wish Pass for things like Zardex, to be able to get that thing in easier, to maybe get a Slurpuff in easier, to maybe get Scizor in easier. It's not going to get Deoxys in easier because, like, you're not leaving a hit. But yeah, this Fat Wish passing can allow some of my threats to come in easier. It can, like, slow Baton Pass, which is more momentum. It's got Foul Play. It can eat hits. A Dark type is great. There are a lot of Psychic Ubers around, like, force them to try and hit a Focus Blast. But then you look at my team and Focus Blast doesn't do a lot outside of Umbreon, other than maybe Weavile, but let's be real. So Double Dark I thought was nice. This is a comfort pick for me. I love using Umbreon. I've used it plenty of times now, and I think it's phenomenal. So moving on, we got round 8 coming along now. So we're getting towards the back end of these picks, and I grabbed Torkoal. And you know what's fun? Zardex. You know what's even more broken? A Zardex in the sun with Tough Cause boosted Flare Blitz. Like, what? What switches into that? Show me a bulky water that takes that into a Dragon Claw. Like, it doesn't exist. So this was also another Bulkiamon that could catch a wish from Umbreon. It's a spinner, because at the moment my removal is Scizor and Zardex. Not amazing. I thought it was, again, it's another tier 5 mon? Yeah, tier 5. That's what Torkoal is. It's a tier 5 mon that forces prep, which is always something I like. Forcing your opponent to prep for 11 mons is always great, instead of making them prep for 8 and then be like, oh, well, these last 3 I've already got an answer for. So I think that was a big reason why I grabbed Torkoal. Sun was also nice. I also did it in tandem with my next pick, which actually this is a nice segue into, which is going to be Venusaur. Venusaur, Life Orb in the sun, it can set up a growth. It's a grass type, which I didn't have. It's a grounded poison. With Chlorophyll, its speed tier is really nice. That's one thing I focused on with this draft, is getting a lot of fast mons to be able to try and outpace those Ubers, because not a lot can live hits, and those mons are going pretty quick and far between. Especially when I spent a lot of my top tier mons getting some offense. So Venusaur was there because it was like, it's another threat. Like, if you look at my tier 5s, like, if you don't prep for a Venusaur in the sun, then, like, that thing sets up a growth, and then you're just like, oh, I sack to this now. You don't prep for sun with Zardex, like, oh geez, my bulky water, which I thought could do a decent job, it now gets 2-shot by Flare Blitz into Dragon Claw. Don't prep for Slurpuff. Oh geez, this thing sets up a Belly Drum and I lose now. Like, that's what I liked about these tier 5 options. It gave me a few more points to spend on something like a Scizor and an Umbreon. But yeah, so I thought it was quite a good option. Second last pick, you can see we got an open tier 4 spot, and I decided to grab Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is a fun mon. It's a fighting type. It hits like a truck. It can switch into statuses because it has guts. It's got Iron Fist. It can be fat with AV, and then because of that, you can throw a wish from Umbreon. You can throw a wish from Slurpuff. You can get this thing in. It takes a hit. It catches a wish, and suddenly you've got this big threat in for free. It's a good counter to some Trick Room teams, because I didn't really have that at this point. And it was just a really strong fighting type, and I was surprised it lasted this long. I didn't really know what I wanted from tier 4 throughout the draft. I knew I wanted Umbreon, I knew I wanted Milotic. But so I just decided to grab the best thing that was left, and that was Conkeldurr. And now you'll see one missing tier 2 spot. And you're thinking, Chris, Blinn, why you left it this long? It's one of your Ubers. Like, there's not too many of them around. You think you want to snap it up. I was talking to, after round 2, only 3 people needed tier 2 slots yet left, and we all decided to talk and agreed to get them all last round, give us all a bit more of we can go for those other things a little bit earlier than others. And mine was Lando Eye. Sheer Force Lando, it gives me a ground type, it gives me another removal, it gives me Edgequake coverage, gives me pivoting, it gives me a nice speed tier, and this thing just rounds out that draft so nicely. Honestly, Lando, I'm very excited to use this pairing. It's phenomenal, like Rock Slide, Earth Power. It can be special, it can be physical, it can be like Scarf, it can be Life Orb, Sheer Force Life Orb hits like a truck. You can run Yachi for those hidden power ices, chew one of those, and then just bop something back. It's a really good mod, and I'm very much excited using it. This thing's going to come to a lot of our games this season. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is. If you want another opinion on any of these picks, I'm pretty sure Aaron2420 uploaded the draft stream to his Twitch channel. If I remember, that'll be down in the description. But yeah, for now, guys, I will see you next week with our week 1 battle against Aquarius and their Chicago Strength Sap. So we should be looking forward to it. Hopefully we can pull out a nice dub. Yeah, let's see if we can start this season off well. But until then, I shall see you guys next time.